Before I start this video, guys, I'm gonna need an edible. Okay? Okay? Hope you're okay with that. Strawberry. Nerd Person Shooter World Premiere! And there's only 5 people watching this. Before I get into it, I just want to point out something. I didn't watch every single showcase like I used to. I find that I don't have the time to do that anymore. And also, most of those extra little showcases, they're a waste of time. They suck balls. No disrespect to all the indie developers who, put their voices out there and stuff. We got like the Green Showcase, women in gaming, Indian gaming. I don't know. I don't know what else there is. Down syndrome gaming. I don't know. I can't keep track of all this stuff, guys. Like, come on. I'm only going to cover 4 showcases. Obviously, the main one, Summer Game Fest. I did watch Day of the Devs. And then yesterday, there was the Xbox showcase with the Gears of War E-Day Direct, which I watched in its entirety. And I also watched the PC gaming show. That is it. To me, those were like the 4 big ones, the 4 most important ones that I had time to watch after I came home from work late at night. So I didn't watch any of these live. I couldn't. I have a job. I work for a living. Anyway, let's start off with Summer Game Fest. And now the first thing that they kicked off with is a banger. It is something that I've been wanting for 5 years now, I think. And that is Resident Evil Code Veronica Remake. I'm really happy. I'm not sure if they're gonna fuck it up, because it does look first person, and I don't like that. Hopefully there's an option to make it third person, okay? Resident Evil Requiem set the benchmark for what Resident Evil games should be, in my opinion. Resident Evil Requiem is the best Resident Evil game to come out in the past 21 years. So, I feel like from now on, every Resident Evil game, every mainline Resident Evil game, should have an option for first person and third person. They've done it before, they can keep doing it. Okay? So I really hope that Code Veronica Remake has a third person option. They're dropping the word code. It's simply called Resident Evil Veronica now. So I'm really happy it is coming out at some point next year, which really isn't a long time. I'm glad that Capcom has actually officially announced it. It's not like they just somehow forgot about it. It's, in my opinion, one of the best Resident Evil games. It's fucking coming. And I am happy. That was the very first thing Summer Game Fest showed off. And so right then and then, this event was already a win for me. And then we have Mighty Cuphead Adventure. We're getting more Cuphead. I personally haven't played Cuphead yet, but I want to mention it just because I always thought Cuphead looked cool. I kind of refuse to play it, though, because I want to play less and less really hard games. So I do want to mention it, though. And then they announced Alien Isolation 2. They gave us a trailer for that. I'm really excited for that. Alien Isolation 1 is a game that I respect and appreciate more than I enjoyed playing it. Alien Isolation 1, in my opinion, wasn't a very fun game to play, but whenever I look back on it, I'm like, that was one hell of a faithful adaptation to the original Alien film. It really was. It was one of the best video game adaptations of all time in terms of source material. And I'm really looking forward to Alien Isolation 2. Hopefully it's not as tedious. Hopefully it's not as unforgiving. And hopefully it manages to kind of retain that horror aspect without compromising anything, really. So hopefully they find a good balance for the sequel. The new Yakuza game, Stranger Than Heaven, comes out January 15th. So I guess that's the first major release to come out in 2027. I think it looks pretty good. It's a prequel to Like a Dragon. I have not played any of those games. I played like half of Yakuza 1 way back in PS2, and I own all of them, or almost all of them, and I, I, I can't find the time to get to them. But, you know, Stranger Than Heaven looks great. There is a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game coming out called The Last Ronin. They didn't really show any gameplay of it, so I have no idea if it's going to be 2D or 3D. If it's going to be like retro or like a real modern game. I did like Shredder's Revenge a lot. So hopefully it's at least that quality when that comes out. Not sure when it comes out. I don't know if they gave us a release date or not, but that's on my radar too. Now, what isn't on my radar, but is a game that I do want to mention to anyone who is a fan of this series and is a fan of MMOs, Guild Wars 3 enters beta next year. So, you know, Guild Wars, I am aware, is a very critically acclaimed MMO series. It's not my thing, but I do want to bring it up just because I know it's a lot of people's thing. Guild Wars 3, that's going to be a big one. Star Wars Galactic Racer, which is it looks kind of like a Mario Kart clone. It looks fun. I think it looks really fun. That comes out October 6th. Virtua Fighter Crossroad, no, not Crossroads, sorry, this isn't Sonic Racing. Virtua Fighter Crossroads is the first rated M Virtua Fighter game. I saw the trailer for it and it threw me off how people were actually swearing and just saying fuck. And I'm like, this is a Virtua Fighter game? Oh, okay. I'm not sure how I feel about that. You know, I grew up on Virtua Fighter 1 and 2 on the Sega Saturn, and to me, those are kind of like childhood classics, and seeing them transition to M rating and really mature and super bloody. But I am still glad that Virtua Fighter is at least alive and kicking, you know. There is new DLC coming out for Mafia the Old Country called Man of Honor. Sadly, I did sell my copy of Mafia the Old Country after I got my Platinum Trophy. I did not know they were making DLC, and if I had to have, I would have kept my copy, because I actually did kind of like that game. It's not as good as the first two, but I do enjoy it more than Mafia 3. So yeah, that comes out August 14th. Not too long from now. There is a new Saw game coming out based on the Saw horror movies. I'm not sure if this is going to be single player or if it's going to be another asymmetric multiplayer game. I have a feeling it's going to be asymmetric multiplayer, but I do want it to at least have a single player component like the new Halloween game is that's also coming out this year. I don't like how every horror franchise now has to have an asymmetric multiplayer game. You know, it's one thing when, you know, Dead by Daylight was doing it and Friday the 13th was doing it. But then we got, you know, Evil Dead, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Halloween, Saw. Are we going to get a Nightmare on Elm Street one now, too? It's just kind of, it's become too predictable. Are we going to get a Chucky asymmetric multiplayer game? Children of the Corn, Candyman, Scream. Actually, Scream one would actually be pretty good. Actually, I would play the Scream one. But yeah, there's a new Saw game coming out. I'm not. I didn't get a release date. I'm not sure when. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. I didn't write it down. Sorry, guys. Lords of the Fallen 2 is coming this fall. I still haven't played. Well, I played the original Lords of the Fallen that came out in 2014, or a little bit of it, and I fucking hated it. I thought it was clunky ass. I thought it was absolute fucking poop. I do own the reboot, but I haven't got around to playing it. But anyway, yeah, Lords of the Fallen 2 is coming up. There is a Star Wars XCOM clone, guys, called Zero Company. That comes out August 27th. Even though I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, I really do want to play this because I love anything that has the XCOM combat system in it. Well, there are a couple exceptions like Massive Chalice and Mutant Year Zero that I couldn't get into because I found them to be way too difficult. But other than that, I'm a big fan of XCOM clones. You know, I love Wasteland, and so I am interested in Star Wars Zero Company. But I most likely won't be getting it at launch, but I will get it at some point. The Wolf Among Us 2 is officially coming next year. That's another game that I have but haven't played. The Wolf Among Us. They are remastering the first one too, which is coming soon as well. I'm not gonna get it because I already own the original, in which I haven't played it yet. But yeah, for those who are big fans of The Wolf Among Us, you are finally getting a sequel. So be happy about that. I haven't played it, but there is a new Stellar Blade game coming out, Stellar Blade 2 Blood Rain. When this was first being shown, I thought it would be like a spin-off or like a DLC or expansion, but no, it's a full game. We're already getting a Stellar Blade 2, so that's interesting. Monster Hunter Wilds is getting an Ascendance DLC. We're getting a new expansion for Monster Hunter Wilds. Monster Hunter Wilds is one of those games where only I like it. Okay, it's one of those games that is good to hate, but it's also the only one that I really enjoyed, just because of how easier it is. I liked how it didn't take a full fucking hour or 45 minutes to take down a fucking monster. But anyway, yeah, I'm interested in Wild's Ascendance. I don't know when that's coming out. I wasn't really paying attention to like the release dates when I was writing this stuff down, you know, like in the moment. Street Fighter 6 is getting more DLC, Year 4 DLC. I'm not gonna buy it. You know, I do love Street Fighter 6. It's my favorite fighting game of the decade so far. But yeah, it's nice to see that game getting more updates and more DLC because that is a really great fighting game. And lastly, they ended the main event with a banger. They started off with a banger and they ended it with a banger. Final Fantasy VII Revelations is coming spring 2027. This is the third and final chapter of the remake trilogy of Final Fantasy VII. I really like these games a lot. Maybe not as much as the original Final Fantasy VII, but I do like them a lot. I think they are better in some ways than the original, like the combat system and maybe some of the characters I like better, like Barrett. But anyway, yeah, Final Fantasy VII Revelations, that is an insta-buy. Well, no, it's not for me, but for Final Fantasy fans and people who don't have ridiculous backlogs to go through, that is an insta-buy. So yeah, I overall really enjoyed this year's main entree of Summer Game Fest. My top three are Code Veronica Remake, Alien Isolation 2, and Final Fantasy VII Revelation. My number four honorable mention would probably be Star Wars Zero Company. Now, on to Day of the Devs. This one disappointed me. There was only one thing that really caught my eye, and that was a new indie RPG, kind of like a retro RPG called Threads of Time. And that is coming out on Xbox and Steam, so probably not PS5. And that's it. Day of the Devs was mostly indie white noise for me. I like looking out for indie games, but I find that a lot of them look too similar to one another. You know, where it's just the same kind of like bland AI made crap. Again, I mean, no disrespect, but Threads of Time was the only thing during the Day of the Devs that really caught my attention. And even then, I'm not sure if I'm going to play it. So that was a waste of time. Day of the Devs was a disappointment for me personally. Let me know what you guys thought of it. And now we are on to the Xbox Game Showcase, which, like the Summer Game Fest, there was quite a lot that they showed, that they revealed. Let's get the Gears of War showcase out of the way. Gears of War E-Day, in my opinion, looks like it's probably going to be the best Coalition has ever made. When I say that, I mean it better be the best Gears of War game since 3. And I think it probably will be, because it looks really good. Like, graphically, the gameplay looks really tight. They have, like, this whole new engine, this whole new physics engine. They're building it from the ground up, and it just looks great. I love the cover system. It looks really snappy and just beefy and just impactful. The sound design sounds fucking phenomenal. The voice acting sounds really good. Everything about Gears of War EDA is solid from what I've seen. And I'm really looking forward to it. Comes out October 6th. I was actually hoping it would come out November 6th because I think that's the 20th year anniversary of Gears of War. But they probably didn't want to put it too close to GTA 6. So it's coming out October 6th instead. So Gears of War E-Day looks awesome. I really enjoyed the showcase that they had at the end of this games, Xbox games show. Fable got delayed to February 23rd, but at least we have a release date for Fable. That also looks pretty good. I'm not a big Fable guy. I mean, I've played all three of them, but I wasn't really into them. I thought they were too easy and just too kind of generic in terms of like combat. So hopefully Fable, this reboot, is better for me. I'll be playing that on Game Pass if I do ever get Game Pass next year. And then of course we have Halo Campaign Evolved, which is the remake of Halo 1. This looks surprisingly really good to me. It looks like one of those, from the ground up remakes. That comes out July 28th. Next month. It's right around the corner. That's cool. PlayStation is also getting it, which is really cool. And then they showed off Resonance: A Plague Tale Legacy, which I gotta say I'm not interested. I love the first two Plague Tale games. I did a full Let's Play the first one, and I reviewed the second one. Gave both of them a 9 out of 10. Really liked them a lot. I thought they were really thought-provoking experiences, really, really good puzzle horror games. Puzzle stealth horror games, I should say. And I'm not getting that looking at this trailer. It comes off as like a third-person action game with no horror, with no puzzles, and I just, what is this? Is this even canon? Does this even have anything to do with Alicia de Rune? Like, it's a new character. Like, this is a whole new thing, and I'm just not in. I'm not interested. I'm not. I don't know why I'm even bringing it up. Then I guess it's because to express my disappointment that a new entry in a series that I loved is coming out and it doesn't look very good to me. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it'll end up more fun to play than the first two, but that doesn't mean I'm going to enjoy it. That doesn't mean I'm going to appreciate it as an art form more than the first two. It's probably not going to move me as much as the first two, emotionally and, innovatively. But anyway, enough about Resonance. I don't know when that's coming out, probably next year at some point. I'll keep it on my radar, but I'm not really excited for it. Persona 4 is getting a second remake. I swear to God, they make too many versions of Persona games. Persona 4 originally came out in PS2, and then I could have sworn they made a remake, or at least a remaster called Persona 4. I thought it was Golden. And now they're making a new remake, or whatever, called Revival, and I'm tired of it. Look, these games are fucking great, okay? They're all, or at least, like, 3, 4, and 5 are all really great. But I'm getting tired of so many different versions of Persona. And now they have just announced Persona 6. And it looks really dark and creepy. It was more like a teaser trailer, but it kind of has a really dark tone. I'm looking forward to it, but what I'm not looking forward to is all the dozens of different versions of Persona 6 50 years from now. Okay? Metro 2039. This is my most anticipated game of all time right now. Metro 2039 is my most anticipated game ever right now, and that is coming out in February. I love the Metro series besides Exodus. I thought Exodus was not very fun to play. I didn't like the whole open world aspect of it. But Metro 2039 looks like it looks like it's bringing us back into the tunnels, which I really love. That's what makes Metro really atmospheric and creepy and eerie. So yeah, hopefully it's a really nice return to form. And then we got Wo Long 2 coming in early 2027. I played the demo of Wo Long 1. I thought it was pretty neat. Maybe not as good as Neo, but I thought it was pretty good. So we're getting a sequel to that game. That's cool. A Hellblade 3 is coming out next year called Senua. This is another one that I'm not really excited for just because I played the second one. I loved the first one. The Hellblade 1 is still one of the most thematically rich games I've ever played. Hellblade 2, significantly less so. I was kind of disappointed in Hellblade 2, and so I'm not really excited for Hellblade 3. It is simply titled Senua, so I don't know. But it is coming, and I guess we'll see. There is DLC coming out for Doom the Dark Ages finally. I already own it. I bought the premium upgrade when it was on sale for like 15 or 20 bucks or something. I don't remember how much I paid for it, but I bought the premium upgrade for Doom the Dark Ages when it went on sale. So I am automatically getting this. It comes out next month, July 7th. So I am going to try to give a either a review or a thoughts video out for you guys at some point next month for Doom the Dark Ages Revelations. That's what it's called. We have Crazy Taxi World Tour coming next year. And this was another childhood game of mine that I used to play all the time on the Dreamcast. So I am planning on getting this just for nostalgia sake. And then we have Minecraft Dungeons 2, which comes out September 29th. I won't be playing this because I will most likely be playing Onimusha Way of the Sword. But I thought Minecraft Dungeons 1 was decent, or okay, you know, fun in short bursts. So Minecraft Dungeons 2 is a game that I am going to play at some point. I think it's coming on Game Pass. I'm almost certain it's coming on Game Pass. So I will play that at some point next year or at some point before I die. Now, this next one that they showed is an absolute win. It is Castlevania Belmont's Curse. Comes out October 15th. I know I said to you guys before in my State of Play video that I'd probably have Silent Hill Townfall as my Halloween video. But I think plans have changed. Because while Townfall is only 50 bucks, Castlevania Belmont's Curse is only going to be 30 bucks. And this looks better. I'm not a big fan of the art style, but combat-wise and gameplay-wise, this definitely looks better than Townfall. And it is a Metroidvania, and so it probably has a lot more content for almost half the price of Silent Hill Townfall. So I'm deciding on making this my Halloween review. I'll have a review out probably on like October 30th, the day before Halloween. Castlevania Belmont's Curse. Castlevania is fucking back, guys. It's about goddamn time. When's the last time we had a new Castlevania game? Was it Lords of Shadow 2 way back in like 2012 or 2013? Holy shit. Not counting the Bloodstained games, not counting games that are inspired by Castlevania, an actual new Castlevania game. And lastly, the last thing they showed was Modern Warfare 4, which I'm just done with Call of Duty, you know? And granted, yeah, I do think the campaign is interesting. It's about like a Korean war, like a civil war between North and South Koreans, and apparently you play as both sides. It's like separated in halves. We experience both perspectives, and that's cool. That is cool. What isn't cool are all the Koreans speaking English. So I hope to God that I can at least change the language in the options to Korean language, because God forbid I have some shred of fucking realism in a Call of Duty game these days. God forbid. Please, please let me change it to Korean so it has a little bit of believability to it. Please? Fuck's sake. This is why I fucking hate Call of Duty now. And I'm not looking forward to the multiplayer. I hear they're getting rid of the Omni movement, which is good. I fucking hate the Omni movement. I think it makes players exploit and act like weirdos and look like fucking idiots doing 360 spins and shit. Like fucking breakdancing and shit. I'm glad they're getting rid of Omni movement because I fucking hated it in the previous two Black Ops games. And I know it is going to be at least better than Black Ops 7. Black Ops 7 is one of the worst video games of all time, in my opinion. And when I say that, I actually think it is right up there with Big Rigs and E.T. on the 2600 and Superman 64. Black Ops 7 is a top 10 worst games of all time, in my opinion. So, I really, I really, they can't do a worse job. It will be better than Black Ops 7 at least. Maybe not as good as Black Ops 6, but better than Black Ops 7. But I'm just not interested. I'm not excited for it. I'll play the campaign, but I probably won't be touching the multiplayer or the DMZ. I just hope that they give me an option to change the language to Korean in campaign. Otherwise, I won't touch the campaign either. Fuck Modern Warfare 4. Please let me change it to Korean. Please, please, please let me get what I want. Lord knows it would be the first time. And so we are on to finally the PC Gaming Show, which, like the Day of the Devs, I thought was a little disappointing, but not quite as much because I did write down a few things here. We are getting a new Serious Sam game called Shatterverse. I've only played the third Serious Sam, but I did enjoy it on PS3. I do have the collection on PS4 and PS5. Haven't played them yet, but so I'm gonna keep Serious Sam Shatterverse on my radar for now. I don't know if it's gonna be any good or not, but we'll see. And then we have a new first-person military shooter coming out called War Dogs. I know, right? What a generic, forgettable title. War Dogs. You have so many shooters with the word war in it. You have Modern Warfare. You have Advanced Warfare. You got Warfighter, and then you have other games with the word dog in it. You know why? Why? I actually had to look this up to find it again because I forgot the name of it while I was writing it down. Like, I actually forgot the name of it right after they showed it. But the real reason why I'm interested in War Dogs is because the developers claim, that there's going to be no online bullshit to it. And what I mean by online bullshit is no microtransactions, no loot boxes, no battle passes, no fucking Nicki Minaj Teletubby skins of people running around like that on the map. Just pure 100% semi-realistic, destructible environments warfare. And I'm all for it. If that's the case, we're in for one of the best shooters of the decade. Just because it is one of the few online shooters that doesn't have any of that shit. So, yeah, War Dogs, I don't know when it's coming out, but it actually does look really good to me. And then we have Outward 2. I know no one knows about this but me. I played Outward 1 for I don't know, a handful of hours. I didn't get very far in it, but it kind of reminded me of like a really charming but janky AA hardcore fantasy RPG where you play as a nobody and you get the shit kicked out of you really easily. A lot of consequence, a lot of risk and reward. So they're making a second Outward game. So that's kind of on my radar just for me personally. Hopefully it's at least better than Outward 1, because I want them to improve on the foundation, the ideas. And then the last thing I wrote down, and the last thing I'm talking about, is Thief: The Dark Project Remastered. I've only ever played the reboot of Thief, the one that came out in 2014. Didn't like it, but I hear the older ones are much better. So we're getting a remaster of Thief: The Dark Project. So that might be something. And yeah, that's it for the PC Game Show, and that is it for this video. So let me know what you guys thought of it. The games that really stick out to me to heart when I'm not looking at this list are Code Veronica Remake, Final Fantasy VII Revelation, Alien Isolation 2, Metro 2039, and Gears of War E-Day. Yeah, those are my top 5, I guess. I might make a Nintendo Direct video Wednesday night, but we'll see how that goes. If it's really a nothing burger, I'll probably just make a short out of it. But yeah, we'll see. So stay tuned, and as always, thank you for watching. I'm gonna eat some pizza now.
Subscribe, motherfucker.